Welcome to True Colors with Mark Reciolielli.
Welcome to True Colors. My name is Mark Reciolielli. Today's guest is someone I have the privilege of calling a brother and a friend. Adam is a lover of music, a seeker of knowledge, and someone who is continually pursuing a deeper understanding of himself. He's a creator whose body art tells pieces of his story, an advocate for people in recovery, and someone who isn't afraid to share his own journey in the hope that it helps someone else find theirs. On Adam's 1-year recovery medallion are the words, an attitude of gratitude. To me, those words say a lot of who he is at the core. He's someone who leads with humility, gratitude, and authenticity. He's also a lover of the outdoors, self-proclaimed foodie, and if you ask me, an absolute genius when it comes to barbecue ribs. More than anything, Adam is a brother, and I am grateful to have him here today. Thank you, Adam, for coming on True Colors.
It's honestly, it's a privilege and it's an honor, and you know a lot more about me than I thought you did.
Right? I wrote some stuff down.
You did, and it's all accurate.
Right? It's all very worthy. So,
thank you.
Let's start off with who you are, and you can tie into how you and I know each other, and just kind of let people know.
Yeah, people in the rooms would know me as Adam T. Adam Thomas. I would be 38 now, I think.
I like that there's a question mark.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, at 38. I think an important thing for me is my sobriety date, which would be October 11th, 2024. So that puts me, I kind of don't know, 21 months plus, I think. About me, for the sake of what we're trying to accomplish today, I think that's a good intro for me, right? How you started it is perfect and very touching to me that you knew all that, remembered all that, and said it so eloquently. So, I think throughout this whole process, there's going to be a lot more that I just want to let that flow with it. So that's where that's the intro. You're going to get not much from me right now.
That's okay. I'm saving it. I like that.
There you go.
So, what are 3 words that describe you?
Resilient. Compassionate. I would say compassionate, empathetic, but we'll keep that as 2. I like to think that I'm creative as well.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'll give you 4, but we'll say it's 3.
Right? We'll throw in empathy as well.
There you go.
I like that. And what sparks joy for you? I'm going to use some Marie Kondo language, but what lights your soul up? What do you like to do?
I've realized, especially in sobriety, for me, it's very much this.
Yeah.
Genuine conversation. A nice iced coffee. Joy. It's simple. It's so simple, right?
True.
Waking up every morning. That's joy for me now. It used to not be. It used to be torture. I think too, being outside. You mentioned nature. I love hikes. I love being outside in general. I'm a huge golfer. Mm-hmm. And I'm rebuilding a set of clubs because mine were unfortunately removed from my possession by people. Anything outdoors. I love golf, like I said. Hiking. That's where I find a lot of peace for myself. Mm-hmm. Joy. Yeah, like the little things that I never thought would bring me joy. Conversation, connection, for me is huge with the joy piece. Yeah.
I agree, and that's something that's helped change my life. Is I used to rush through things, rush through conversations, like I had a finish line that I had to get to. Yeah. It's again, the premise in this life is the man that enjoys the journey over the destination, right?
Absolutely.
And those connections can happen if we're willing every day to wake up with purpose of, hey, who knows what's going to happen today?
Absolutely.
But when we've been given this gift, is allowing what would seem the weirdest, the most unique. I don't want to get too many adjectives, but just allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
And when we're free and we're not so worried about if we're 5 minutes late for an appointment or something because we connected with someone.
Yeah.
It's just people will understand.
Yeah,
I used to be so fearful of aggravating other people, but not mindful of where I was on my journey.
Yeah.
And if it's a train that stopped me, I can't do anything about a big train in the city that's held me up. And I used to feel bad for that and apologize.
Yeah.
People understand.
I think too with joy, I was always looking for those big parts of joy. You know what I mean? Like those huge, grandiose things where, like, that's just setting me up to be let down.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's been about finding the little things that are joyful. Right? Again, like, would it be safe to say that waking up before was a nightmare?
Mm-hmm.
It was. Of course it was.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I would hope I wouldn't wake up. But even something so simple as, waking up in the morning and feeling good.
This is the last time. Right?
Yeah.
That mindset. This is not going to happen again.
Never again. Until tomorrow morning when it happens again. Inevitably, right? But it sounds so cliche, but waking up in the morning, that's a joy. If I'm sore, a couple cracks, crack my back, crack my neck, and I'm usually good to go.
Yeah.
Sometimes takes a bit longer, but little things now, it's where I find joy, right? I'm not chasing something.
Well, I think that's so the self-awareness piece, right? Because we are our worst enemy at times. And,
Absolutely.
And when we're chasing something that is not fulfilling or sustainable, it's
sustainable. Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me then, or tell us, who were you before recovery?
That's a good question. Before recovery, I was angry, impatient, intolerable to be around. I wasn't honest ever. I was manipulative. I played the victim. Mm-hmm. Like the brass tacks of all of that is I was always a victim. I didn't like who I was. So my solution was to just be around no one, isolate. I was a huge isolator. I wouldn't see people except for work. My spare time was just at home. I was miserable. I was in a miserable existence. It was unfulfilling. It was very much what became my normal. Mm-hmm. It's what became Adam. And I didn't see any other viable option to live a life because that's all that I knew. And it became my identity.
It's true. It's well said. And there's a lot of people that can relate, at least parts in that.
Probably,
So what was your ground zero, your turning point for you?
Yeah, that's another, I was the kind of person that I needed catastrophe to happen before I would make a change. But those changes were never going to be long term. They were something to appease someone else so that I could get my way. That's manipulation to the very core. My ground zero, anyone who's heard me talk would know, and I won't go into great detail with it. It was loss, right? It was the inevitable loss of a partner, a stepdaughter, a home, a job. I lost what I thought was everything to me, right? But the thing with that is it didn't stop me from doing what I was doing prior to that. It only made it worse, right? My ground zero was very much about suffering to a degree I've never felt. And I think for me, it was the loss of a stepdaughter, though not blood. I don't think blood always means everything, right?
I agree.
So that for me was my ground zero. And all of it was because of addiction. No part of that was not from addiction. Every single ounce of what I lost was because of an addiction. So there's nowhere to turn but, at the time it was outward. Mm-hmm. Everyone else, this is me being a victim, right? At the time. Everything else is everyone else's fault. I'm just a recipient of bad luck.
Fair.
Or someone just doesn't want good for me. And that's just that. That's a victim, right?
I lived there. I had the same mask.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is there any more you could elaborate on the effect it had on your relationships, whether it's, like you say, it doesn't have to be blood, whatever's...
Yeah. I could sum up 20 years of my life with the same sentence, with the same paragraph. My addiction made me very much a person whom you couldn't trust. If you had a cabinet full of alcohol, give that a week, it's gone. And I would have lied about it, right? I was in relationships with wonderful people. And, I robbed them of some serenity, some solitude, some peace, because it was the same thing. It was a cycle. I lived in a cycle, right? So for me, it was very much about, I would play, this is all just a victim. I would play the victim. I'd make them feel bad for me, anyone in my life, right? But I would manipulate the truth of what actually happened. So it would play into my cards. And then people realize that I'm manipulating them, right? And I was never an aggressive, violent drinker, never. I wouldn't raise my voice, but I would just be insufferable to be around. I'd be so depressed, so miserable, that people just got fed up with me and then left. Everyone did. And I don't blame them for that at all. I would have left too.
You've hit a few things that have hit on part of my story, the manipulation part, the playing the victim, and also getting angry at people, being a retired people pleaser, as I say, is people would cross a line in the sand that they didn't know existed, and I would get upset at them for it. And worse, I would carry that resentment and bring it out later, usually angry, or had a few beverages, and I would be very brave then.
Yes, of course.
To bring that out.
Yeah.
But I think the part for me that hits, that you've reminded me, is people couldn't truly know me when I wasn't really truly being myself.
Yep.
And when you use manipulation as a defense, as a weapon at times, we push people away. We don't even know it.
Yeah.
Right? We don't allow people to reach and touch us at the deeper levels. And I think that's so overlooked. We're not just stopping what we used to be addicted to. We're actually peeling the onion back and working on healing why we needed that in the first place.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah,
and I think that's what will make you, and that's what draws people to you now, is the light you carry and the energy that's, for people who have known you your whole life. Well, we always knew Adam was a good guy at heart. But when you're not living that day in, day out, it's hard to make those deeper connections.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? And especially when I isolated as well. And
it seemed like the easiest way to live, really.
Completely.
No one can know. If no one knows, it's not a problem.
Absolutely. Right? And that's the shame and guilt.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of people, it may not be all your fault, but it is your responsibility.
100%.
And, stop playing the victim when you start being accountable to self.
Yep.
And I'll get into that in a minute about habits, but truly, it's not built overnight. Hardest part for you in asking for help?
I think this is a very common response. Feeling weak, less than, small. And I think then I looked at, if someone were to say, Adam, how are you doing? My response was always, I'm fine. Cookie cutter, right?
Yeah.
And then it's also kind of a closed-ended answer rather. You can't really say anything from that. I'm fine. Okay, well, bye. So it doesn't allow a conversation to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do.
I think with that, it's really for me. I forgot the question. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Adam, how are you? That wasn't the question, but it's the question now, right? My question was hardest part asking.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry.
That's all right.
Jeez Louise. I think that opens up vulnerability, right? And active addiction, Adam was not vulnerable. Closed off. I was wearing masks. I was wearing all the armor, so people couldn't get in. Because I didn't want people to know who I was.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know who I was.
Completely.
I didn't like who I was. So why would I invite anyone into that? And that's kind of, for me, like you mentioned peeling back an onion, which is a great metaphor because it makes sense. I wasn't ready, able, willing, wanting to do that. So asking for help, you're starting to peel back an onion that I have developed as a protection to keep me safe. I'll put that in air quotes because it's not safe, but that just became my identity. I'd have no problem asking for help if it was I need money because I spend all my money on booze and I can't afford rent.
True.
No problem asking for that kind of help. But that's not help. Like really.
No, you're right. It's very true. What has recovery given you?
A simple answer is everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, elaboration on that would be, it gave me a sense of self. It gave me a sense of purpose. It showed me, I always say like, I don't want any of that back. I want to rediscover, reimagine, maybe is a better word, who I am, because I technically, like realistically, was in addiction for 20 years of my life. So I'm 38 now, we think.
Right?
So 20 minus 20, that's 18. Right? Yeah, that's 18. So like, I don't remember a lot of my life. Honestly, I don't. So it gave me back, or it helped me reimagine who I was. And it gave me community. It gave me people like you, right? Like what a blessing you've been in my life, in my recovery, and as a friend. Like it's been such a blessing. And it's given me a new way of looking at life, a new way of looking at people around me. It's given me everything, right? It's given me, I've never had money in my bank account because, well, if I had money, I know where it would be going. And I have disposable income. I mean, not a lot, mind you, but you know what I mean? It's something.
Absolutely.
But it's giving me, people always say I'm looking for happiness. That's fleeting. That ebb and flows. I'm looking for peace of mind.
Yes.
And I can really say that I'm not always, because life is life, but I'm pretty peaceful where I'm at.
I really like that because again, happiness is if we're searching for it, looking for it, right, you're going to be disappointed. And I like the peace of mind because that's what you carry every day, right? You choose to, regardless of the rain or the weather or the bank account or the lack of something in your life, you still recognize what you've been given. Yeah. And that's such a strength to carry that, because that keeps you at a place where you will connect with people. You're magnetizing the right people, I believe, at the right time. And there are times where I wanted these people. I wanted someone to soldier some of my mess with. And I believe God had a higher purpose for me, saying, no, you clean up your mess, clean up your side of the street. Yeah. And when the time's right, I'll allow that to happen. Yeah. And it was struggle because all I wanted was, a partner and all the things that I was missing. But it's been a gift to be accountable to myself at a deeper level. Yeah, absolutely. Right? It's being okay with being alone with self. And thank you for the kind words. I share that sentiment as well. And you're inspirational, and I believe have a very bright. It's probably my closing, but it's a very bright future. But again, I don't think there's any mistakes when we're willing to find someone that we connect with, or carries the same kind of values, regardless of age, background, because 10 years ago would have looked very different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your medallion.
Sure.
Attitude of gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, tell us why. I mean, there's an obvious statement.
Yeah.
Why that one overall? Anything else? Why was that something you picked? Because 1 year medallions.
That's significant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worked for that one. I was always taught gratitude's an action word. I can say I'm grateful for everything, but what am I doing to show that I'm grateful? Yeah. Right? I write in my gratitude journal every day. And I've looked back through that journal. And I started it when I got to sober living. And it was hard to come up with things then. So then intentional gratitude, right? What might you be grateful for when you achieve it? Or simple things. I'm grateful for this iced coffee. Like, it doesn't have to be grandiose, and that's the one thing that it's taught me is like gratitude doesn't have to be grandiose. It can be so small.
I like that, because even the potential for gratitude, you've aligned yourself up with who you've been meant to be this whole time. Yeah. You've given yourself the chance at something that years ago you never would have had you probably wouldn't have been doing a gratitude journal.
Yeah. No, definitely not.
Right. And I too, I like to say prayer, but also gratitude is a verb. Right? It is. It's you can speak in theory all you want, but until you align with that in action, you're banging a drum, you're making noise.
Absolutely. And I think too, like I said earlier, grateful for waking up in the morning, and that sounds so minuscule to most people. Maybe not most, probably most people. But coming from how I used to wake up, I am very grateful for that.
Yeah.
And it's so simple, but like, that's gratitude. But like, it also, how do you show it? I don't know. I'm the kind of person, when I do things, this is just me personally, that are helpful, I don't broadcast it, because that's not the point of gratitude. It's not about recognition. It's about doing something because it's the right thing to do. And of course it makes me feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to actually share one of your traits that I loved, and I'm still learning to rest and digest. But when you were earlier in recovery, you were carving out time for yourself, whether it was in the hammock, whether it was purposely spending time with Adam. That's an important trait that I think a lot of us, we can hurry up and try and be busy, and then all of a sudden wonder why all of a sudden we're anxious when we're by ourselves. But learn to, and there's a course that Harvard actually teaches on being bored. It's to learn about not needing the dopamine hits, not needing to feel that connection with other people, but finding it with self. And I think you've really helped teach me that making the time, setting boundaries, saying no to what I would have loved to have I'd done that, but I have this couple hours that I can't get back, and I'm going to spend it on me. You may not use those words, but that's how I took it, and it's an important thing, because I think a lot of us will just feel like, again, we're rushing to get somewhere, but there's no line to cross.
No, right? Not. I think it was important for me to also learn, though this is important for me anyway, that because I was such an isolated drinker, I have to be mindful, and I have to check in with myself often if I'm having solitude, because there's a difference between solitude and isolation. It's a fine line. For me, it is. I have to check in with that, because being with myself, I would have never done that before sober. There's no way. I love it now, but There's always a but.
Yeah.
However, if someone were to call me like yourself and say, Adam, like I could use a friend, do you want to go for coffee? And I say no. And I have no other plan. I'm bored on isolation now because I can't be pulled away from my solitude because it's bordering into I just want to be by myself for extended periods of time, which hasn't happened thus far. But I think, it's important that for me that I check in, right? One of my biggest tells is if I'm biting my fingernails. And it's my body tells me
Review this video.
Yes.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. But literally, like if I'm chewing my nails, that was my old anxious tendencies. I had horrible anxiety. And I would chew my nails until they were like raw. And that was I don't know what it is. Like it's just, I haven't deep dove into that one. But I've figured out my tells. And that's one of them.
You'll be a better poker player now too.
Yeah.
If you have your tells.
Yeah.
You've kind of rolled into something. You've touched on a few of them with some of your habits, but can you talk about daily habits now that help?
Yeah. I've always had, everyone needs to eat food, obviously. I spent most of my life cooking professionally. For me, I make sure I cook myself a meal every day. Every day. I wish I liked leftovers. I just don't. There's certain things I do.
Yeah.
For the most part, I cook from scratch every night.
Wow.
Every night. Minimally, maybe not last night. But that's okay. 99% of the time.
Yeah.
That's one of my things. Like I wouldn't eat for 3-4 days before. And when I did, it would be garbage. It would be Pizza Hut. Nothing against pizza. I love pizza. But when you haven't eaten for 4 days and the first thing you throw in your mouth is a stuffed crust pizza, maybe not the best choice. So I always make my own, I always cook dinner for myself. I wake up every morning and I think about my day, right? And what that's going to look like. But I'm also open to things changing.
Yeah.
We don't like change, but we can work through that and become more comfortable with the unknown. And I always go to bed and I review my day, right? I do it every night. And I just think what could I have done today to be a little bit better? And I fall short often. I'm human. Mm-hmm. But I've accepted that and I don't beat myself up over it now, right? So, the habit thing, I've created a life of peace. I honestly really have. And for me, it's little things. I like to have my coffee in the morning, right? I grind it fresh every morning and I brew it fresh, my little espresso machine.
I do the same.
Yeah, and that's just how I start my day every day. Yeah. Call me a coffee addict, I'm fine with that. But it's, do I have these massive things of habitual tendencies? No, I just do what I think is right. And a lot of times that's simple little things like making a morning coffee, making myself dinner, and actually sitting down and eating it.
That's good too.
With intention.
Right.
Not in front of my TV, which I'm guilty of sometimes, but just being mindful and present, even if I'm eating by myself.
Well, and I think that's important. It's, I too have to be mindful of how quickly I'd eat if I'd spend a lot of time making something, right? Truly enjoying it. And if I was sitting amongst company, I wouldn't be eating that quick.
Yes.
Right? With the bib tucked in, watching a TV show. There's, again, times where I'll put music on or I will have 2 fur dogs staring at my face looking for scraps. But that doesn't change regardless of where I'm sitting. That's just life. That is just life. You mentioned earlier about music, nature, and creativity. Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about what that means to you and what maybe how it's changed over the last little while?
Yeah, I will try and make a very long story very short. I'm not good at it, but I'm going to try.
Sure.
I had a teacher in high school. And I was not a fan of high school. I wasn't the greatest student. I had a hard time paying attention. And he taught percussion. And he was a very respected percussionist. And we had a full studio. There was drum sets. So I took it as like in grade 10, you have to do an elective. And I registered last minute because that's how I was, procrastinator. So I got stuck in that class, which ended up being a very important class for me. But he knew when I was having a not day or if I was in a bad spot. And he would just give me access, space to go play drums just in a soundproof room.
Amazing.
And I would do that. And that sparked a love for me of like drums, but creating something. I was in a band for a while. We did some touring, short-lived, but I mean, the touring lifestyle is not for anyone, definitely not for me. And I love the process of writing and you know, because I was vocals in this band and I like to write a lot. Even more so now that I'm sober. It helps clear the mess that's in my head, you know, from mind to hand outwards, right? So that's been a really good outlet for me to clarify my brain sometimes. Yeah, and I think like, I don't know, we were just talking before we came here about that book. There was a secret chord. That's what it's called, right? And, you know, one of the things he talks about is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, Friesen or Friesen. It's when certain people have an effect to music where you get goosebumps.
Yes.
And in music, that's what it does for me. And I listen to like really heavy metal, but I can do that and have a little nap. Like it's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe be scared of me, maybe don't, I don't know. But music is something I always have on because it just calms me down, right? It speaks to me in a way that sometimes people can't.
I like that.
Yeah.
And we all know it's vibrational. And like you say, if it's something, the drums that used to help you in high school, it would make sense why you wouldn't need some elevator music. It wouldn't be soothing to you. You need something that kind of, again, I do neurofeedback and it's all bilateral.
Yes.
And you can do it with even drumming. And there is definite healing to that. And I really like music too. And you're a few octaves higher than I in the heaviness world.
Yes.
I have heard some of your music and I can understand, but that's also part of what I'm trying to do is be okay with people not liking everything about me. I don't not like Adam because he doesn't like my music. I respect Adam more because he likes his own. Yeah,
well, imagine if we all listened to the same thing, how boring a place that would be. But it opens up no creativity if everyone just listened to the same thing. I wouldn't want to live in that world.
It's so true.
People forget to think that too, right? When I play my really heavy music, they're like, what do you like? Country. Amazing, good for you. But imagine if there was no difference and everything was the same.
It's true.
No fun.
No.
There's no creativity in that at all.
Right.
It's all cookie cutter at that point, you know?
Everyone would be wearing the same t-shirt.
We kind of are, by the way.
Yeah, true. Right? That played out well.
We didn't plan it.
Right? So, lover of tattoos. And I asked you, can you tell us, is there one specific one that has special meaning?
Yeah, there is one. I have a lot of work done and none of it means anything. I just like the art of it. A lot of times I'll tell an artist, this is where I want it, do whatever you want. And just show me when I come in the next day.
Interesting.
Because that opens up creativity for the artist, do whatever he wants.
Sure.
Whatever he or she wants. And then it allows me to have a surprise. But the only one that actually means anything to me, and thus far I haven't had to cover it up, would be my sobriety date. And it's on my right hand where I can't lose it if I'm drinking. If I decide to pick up a drink, rather.
That's deep.
I mean, people told me not to put it on there, but I thought it was good and it has served me well thus far.
Were those people without tattoos?
Some of them.
Right.
But the funny thing,
Well, I get it.
yeah. Then the funny thing is, though, we were talking about this earlier. A lot of why I got tattoos was because, this might sound morose, I don't know, but you might get it. It made me feel something, if that makes sense. Like, I also thought a lot of my life I deserved pain because this wasn't living a life that I was proud of. I was like, well, this is my punishment. But it also made me feel alive. And this all might not make a lot of sense, but it does in my brain. I lived in such a clouded world, right? And I was just numb. I was always numb to everything around me. That the minute the needle touches your skin, you're awake.
Wow.
And that's how it felt, right? Like I've sat for 8, 9, 10 hours in one piece. And I mean, your body tells you to stop after, we'll call it 2 hours. But you can push through that. You can go a couple more hours and then you push through that. You can go, and eventually your body really tells you to stop. But for me, it was just about feeling something. Pain or otherwise, just something. And clearly, I needed to feel a lot of things.
Well, fair. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like that. I really admire allowing the artist to, especially if you give them an open canvas, you're hitting the top end of their vibrato, their flow, right. That's admirable, and I have a lot of friends with tattoos for various reasons, and then there's obviously some that are disappointed and want change. And the thing about that date, and I heard it said recently that if you're so fixed on your date at times, are you counting to get to a certain number? You know, and it's not about, for you again. It's like the books in my house. When I see books, it reminds me. And some days it'll, remind my unconscious, like, hey, go grab I'm thinking of this book, go grab it. Yeah. There's just that little thing that you may not be aware of, but you are aware of.
Yeah.
And it's we have no finish date. Right.
No.
This is a journey for life. However, a significant date, and I have some myself, play importance. And I come up next week on 1 year in clean and sober and rigorously honest. I'm saying, because I haven't had a drink of alcohol since June of 23. But last year I leveled up. I leveled up against the weak parts of Mark. I leveled up against where I used to think shortcuts is the way to go. I like the accountability piece, because when it's right there, that's it, right?
And I think it's a huge part of it too. Is I was never accountable for anything. I would never own any part of anything I did. I would blame, right?
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I did this was because I was just going to treatment, and I really wanted to get my fingers tattooed, and I said, let's go do it. And there's a little space here, and he's like, what do you want to do there? And I'm like, and then I just said, let's just do my sobriety date. And he's like, okay. Like, I was maybe a week sober.
Wow.
Like, big plans, right? And I hadn't got a treatment yet. I just got out of detox. But I said, you know what? Like, even if this is not my life, if I go out and drink, this is still a reminder, right? Clean time, sober time is sober time. I'm so fortunate and grateful and blessed. I have not picked up a drink since that time, nor have I really thought about it, honestly. But it's a good reminder, and it's good accountability. Like, that's on your body. I mean, you can remove them now, but I mean, that's not my intention. But even if it's just, it's accountability. Like, it's just, I can't not see it, because I can't do anything with my left hand. Like, drinking with my left, I just don't do it. It's always my right hand. And you can't hide that.
No, you can't.
There's method to this madness.
Right. I'm actually, again, I've read a few things on the power of the other hand. I've read a few books about what it does in our bridge the hemispheres. And each day I try and write out in my journal with my left, or I'll write, because it does make me think, hey, you have another hand that can do this so much quicker.
Yeah.
But still stay with it, because it's painfully, frustrating at times.
It is.
I have gotten better, and I was never great at penmanship with the right.
Yeah.
So the left is catching up quickly.
Yeah.
And
if the bar's low, right?
Well, and I actually do most things, as you know, a left-handed golfer.
Yeah.
Hockey, I don't throw left, but I don't throw bad left.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I should have been throwing left and writing left from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I like that premise.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate when people stick to their right.
Yeah.
The importance of community and recovery.
Yeah, wow. I think, and you might be able to share this sentiment, as an isolated drinker, the thought of community before was awful. Mm-hmm. Now, I remember my first meeting. It was a Friday night. It was a Friday night meeting. And I sat in the very back with the yellow hood on, and I cried the whole time, right? And I wanted to get out of that meeting as quick as possible. The amount of people that were like, I've never seen you before, and they introduced themselves to me. I hated it. I did. But I was also so lost and confused and broken, I wasn't receptive. And it took a bit of time for me to feel comfortable with groups of people, honestly. It's like one of the biggest things that I attribute to my success is community. Yourself. I have my Turning Point crew, right? And that's a huge part, staff and people I lived with. I even talked to some people even still from treatment, and I went to treatment 3 hours away, right? But it's about, what do I do with that community, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm in a bad spot, do I pick up the phone? That's on me, right?
It's true. People
check in on me. Like, I don't go to as many meetings as I used to, and point blank, and I'll tell them, right? And we've had this discussion. It doesn't matter in this context, but they reach out, and I appreciate that. But it's, what do I do when I'm feeling squirrely, right? And I've learned that if I want to maintain success with sobriety and in anything in life, mm-hmm. I have to be willing to ask for help. I have to be willing to reach out. I have to be willing to do the very easy things I did to get to a point of sobriety, even to stop, to put the drink down. Right? I have to be willing to do anything to maintain sobriety. And that's the big thing with community, is it's given me a fellowship of people that I believe it's nothing but unconditional love, right? Like, I would do anything for you if you needed it. And I know it's reciprocated. And that doesn't happen a lot. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. But that's the beauty of community, especially in recovery.
Well, I think the community with the lived experience that we've witnessed, and the trust is built quickly, right?
Yeah.
And something by the the normies, the people from outside our community don't completely get, as why we are drawn to people from our community.
Yeah. I think, the one thing I will say, not to contradict any of that, is, I had a counselor when I was in treatment who was not lived experience, but we had a great therapeutic relationship. Because in my opinion, and I can't fact check this, most people that get into the addiction field, most people wouldn't have done it for the money, to be honest. Or they probably would have done it because it's affected some part of their life, whether that's a parent, a spouse, a sibling. So, and I get that. Like, lived experience for me is huge. It is. I just think people wouldn't do this unless it affected some part of their life. Does that make sense?
It does.
So I think, like, again, my experience was, Turning Point and sober living, they're all lived experience. That's a requirement. And I have had the most beautiful moments with those staff members that are all lived experience. I had just as wonderful and transformative experience with somebody who wasn't lived experience.
Yes.
You know, but that's very specific. She was just a very good counselor. And that's not across the board with everyone lived experience too, right? There's two ways of looking at that. And I like to always open up two different avenues, you know?
No, absolutely. Being objective is what's helped save us, because if we're so subjective to everything coming in, whether it's phone or text or expectations of people, we're not open to those new relationships.
That's all. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's advice for 20-year-old Adam.
There's a song, and I don't know the song. It just popped in my head, and it's two things actually. What I would have told 20-year-old Adam is pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. That might not make sense for a lot of people. To me, it does. The other one is a quote, and we were talking about this earlier, and we both love this author. Is our greatest sources of suffering are the lies that we tell ourselves. Now, if I unpack that and think about that, like with my big old brain, how are you doing, Adam? I'm fine. Are you? Right? It sounds so simple, but for someone that's stuck in that cycle, that is the most impossible thing to overcome, is being vulnerable and open and sharing, I'm not okay. But that's also okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to not be okay. Everyone's heard that. But it's true when you actually think about it. Because most people just say, I'm fine, or, another day in the office. It's like, what are you actually doing? I think I was the kind of person, though, and unfortunately, I would have told me, you don't have to live like this. You don't. But you got to do the work. You have to make that change. And you don't need to lose everything to make that change. So true. I always say the book is to bring up, the program is to bring up our bottoms. I didn't get that memo. I didn't get that memo. Yeah. But I think people that come from the depths and make it through, and my experience are some of the strongest, most resilient, beautiful people I've ever met in my life. And that comes from having to completely transform who you are. But it's also resilience. That's for me, and I can think of a few examples off the top of my head. They would do anything for anyone, but also value self to a point where they have boundaries. They value their own time. And they live a life that's like very much about growing and always evolving. And the only constant is change, right?
It's good.
And like, that was a long-winded thing to say that Adam would tell himself, don't suffer. You don't have to suffer. But I guess this whole point of this is
absolutely
just talk.
Just let it flow.
Let it go.
And I like that, the fine, and I would justify in my brain what fine meant by my day. Well, I'm not as bad as so-and-so, or I'm not near as bad as that guy. So that made me feel okay. Rather than saying, your only measuring stick is you yesterday. And who you hope to be tomorrow. You go ahead and tell the people you're fine when you're not willing to share what you've been doing, how you've been spending your time. As someone would say, show your dopamine map. Where are you getting all your mojo from? And not a lot of people would be like, well, I don't want people to see that. But truly, I can speak with truth and say I would share it with anybody if they asked. Absolutely. I'm not perfect by any means, and I try not to be. I try and be who I am, and that's been a gift. And it's been a struggle. Relationships have fallen off. Relationships have come in. But I understand that's supposed to happen when I'm being me. And
not everyone's gonna like Mark, and honestly, that's okay.
Absolutely, it's okay.
Makes more space for new people, new experiences, right?
Absolutely. What are you most grateful for today?
one thing, eh?
Well, I mean, you can atom it a little
There's
bit.
a myriad of things I'm grateful for today.
Sure.
You know, trust with my family is huge. You know, there's come a point, and the best thing my mom could have ever done for me was say, you can't stay with my house. And at the time, I was like, but you're my mom. Why would you not enable me anymore, right?
Well said.
You know, I think that takes time. And, I'm not saying that I'm fully on the trust bandwagon yet. And that's okay. That's huge for me, family, right? I wasn't trusted for a while, and I wouldn't trust me either. Mm-hmm. I would not trust me either. I've met so many amazing people. And I'm looking at one right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your bum. I mean it, right? People, like just so many amazing people. You know, like I'm grateful for the journey I've been on. It was not easy, but it's not supposed to be. Because if it was easy, there wouldn't be addiction, right? It just wouldn't. Everyone can just get clean. It's hard. But I'm grateful for all the resources that I have.
Yeah.
Right? Like we were talking about this morning, detox, treatment, turning point, right? Like I've used a crisis center before. Like I've kind of did a multifaceted approach with all the services London has, but I needed to. So I'm grateful for what London has, right? I'm grateful we have that. I'm grateful for iced coffee. I'm grateful for new friendships. I'm grateful for a beautiful day out today. I'm beautiful we got rain finally. I'm grateful we got rain finally. That came out. I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me is I'm grateful. I'm content and peaceful in this body I inhabit.
And you, if I can, and thank you for sharing that. You live that. You are that, and I've known you long enough to see you grow in that and reinforce it.
Thank you.
Right? Those habits, you don't know where you'll be in 5 years, but you're not in a hurry to get there, right? You're enjoying the time, the day, figuring out what's next for Adam, finding your own place and next in a relationship. All those things will evolve with you. And I think the more you continue to reinforce who you truly are and not be afraid to let people say, you're not for me.
Yeah.
Because we don't want people to lie to us saying, I'll overlook a few things and hope that works out, because that's not authenticity. That's
not at all.
It's not truth.
No, not at all.
I will ask you one more.
Okay.
One takeaway that you want people to understand, whether it's advice, whether it's something about you, something on your heart that you want to share.
No, okay. I think, and it still saddens me. I think addiction is one of those things where people feel hopeless, trapped, like no one gets it. And that's how I felt. If anyone takes anything away from what I had to say today, there is hope. There is a way to get better. There are people who care, and there are people that will help. It's just, for me, it was how willing am I? What lengths am I willing to go to?
Love that word.
To get help. And recovery is for everyone. Anyone can get clean. Anyone can get sober. Anyone can have a life, right? Anyone. And I've seen people that when I first met them, I was like, there's no way you're going to get this. But also, don't give up. We had this discussion this morning. Some people 20 times in detox, okay, maybe the 21st time will work. Don't give up, right? And I think this honestly is my first real attempt at sobriety. And I'm grateful for that. Because I didn't have much left in me. B, I don't know if I would make it back. I don't. But for the people that keep doing it, it will work. It will stick one day. And for someone who's scared to get sober, it only gets better.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some rough days for sure in 21 months. I have lost track of how many months.
Which is great.
It just doesn't matter to me anymore. But like, it gets better. But the bad days, I can manage them now, sober, because I'm clear-headed and I know who to call if I need something, right?
Absolutely.
Community. It takes a village to get someone sober, and I believe that to be true.
It's so true. I like that. And you create the opportunities by being you, by being accountable to you, by the doors that were closed, looking for the doors that are open, and choosing the right path. We would call people when we wanted to kind of feel self-loathing. We wanted to feel numbing out. We knew who to call. We knew where to go or how to be by ourselves. But when you reach for more, you think of 5 years from now who that Adam would want you to call. Who, our best self would want. And it's hard. And I like how, and I'll finish saying with this statement, there's a lot of people that assume it's just stopping. But it doesn't respect the amount of years of poor coping, the psychology behind it, the whys. Again, if this was our solution, what was our reason? And our reasons are so different. I'll never compare myself to Adam for anything other than be there as a brother to walk him if he needs it. But I will compare Mark to Mark, as you're doing for yourself. And because then that's the accountability you can't deny. Is, if you look at, well, I don't have this or I don't have that, your old self did. It's such a beautiful message, because a lot of people would feel I haven't hit a bottom, or my story's not near as dark as Adam, so I don't need that help yet. And again, it's not it doesn't have to be a reactive program or acceptance. I
think too, like, comparison is a thief of joy.
Yes.
And another thing too, and I will say this, I think it's very important, is people think like, surrendering, throwing the white flag up is a sign of weakness. It literally means to join the winning side.
Yes. I like that. Yeah.
But that's what it means.
Yes.
Right? So when you're thinking, oh, I'm giving up, I'm surrendering, you're joining the winning side.
It's good.
So I think that's an important, analogy. I love analogies because it helps my brain compute.
Yes, I do too.
But I think it's important. It's an important thing that, like, for me to, maybe that just kind of came to me, right? It's important.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
You very kind with your words, but also with your time. And I too share the sentiment for who you are. And there has been people who've, like yourself, who've said some very kind things that I used to get very standoffish against, or kind of deflect. But it takes away from the compliment coming from the person, and it allowing it to hit. It kind of takes away some of that armor I used to wear. And it's not trying to be ego. It's trying to say, hey, you're actually being seen, and you're actually being noticed for who you are, rather than what you're trying to be or trying to put up. And I love you.
Love you too, brother.
I am so appreciative of today. And I hope if anyone heard anything today and takes away, that you'll find one bold step to reach out, to call a friend, message someone, because you're not alone, and it's not yours to carry alone. And thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you for having me. It was a really needed time with my friend, and I'm grateful that we could do this and we had the opportunity to hopefully help someone, even if it's one person.
We're absolutely. And we were just missing the cigars. But that's okay. That'll happen soon. This has been Adam and Mark, and I thank you for tuning into True Colors. And please reach out if you need anything. And thank you for your support.
Thank you.
You've been listening to True Colors with Mark Rescio, Executive production by Mr. Norm Media Productions.